Enjoy the second part of our tryst with Telugu theatre. Mr. Uday Bhanu, director, actor, and a much respected Telugu theatre personality, talks about its rich heritage and history. Uday Bhanu sir was talking about the earlier days of Telugu theatre during late 19th century and early 20th century. He was talking about how Suravi Theatre started and its operation during its heydays. Digging stages, performing for months and before leaving the village, building schools, temples and digging wells for the village society.
Okay, so and in those days, the company manager called Vanarasa Govindrao is the owner of the company. He used to have a car. Can you imagine a car? Only Maharajas and Jamindars can afford a car, whereas this man has a car. And in their company, they used to have elephants and camels. Of course, there used to be horses. So the company, it saw those golden period. Okay, and as the company grew, it grew into 24 companies and performed all over the Telugu speaking areas. Okay, with this in the same pattern, earning the same kind of revenue, earning the same kind of respect, earning the same kind of adulation from the audience. That's how they used to perform. So now we'll come to the modern Telugu theatre again. So this founder of this company, Vanarasa Govindrao, with the help of some other theatre stalwarts of those days, they sat down and reviewed the entire situation of Telugu theatre, where the companies have been closed, where the contractor has played havoc with the theatre, and there is no discipline in the artists. There is no discipline in the theatrical performances. There used to be a lot of problems with the staging of the performances because of the contractors and their absences. Okay, so they sat together and started reviewing the situation, and they set up an organization called Andhra Nataka Kala Parishad. Andhra Nataka Kala Parishad. I think you got the meaning. Hope you got the meaning. Okay, Parishad, you know what is Parishad? Kala, Nataka. All those words are self-explanatory in any Indian language. So they started working on this. They started something called a kind of, it started with a festival, Telugu Theatre Festival. And to participate in that festival, they used to have some rules. For example, in those days, the girls never used to dare to come onto theatre, and only boys used to don the role of a female and do the roles. Okay, and the influence of the Pajanatakam is so much that people did not give much preference to the socially relevant plays. Okay, and also the craft of acting, the craft of stage design, the craft of other things were in a very low level. So they wanted to improve all these things. So they set some rules. For example, only females are allowed to do the female roles. Okay, and the plays are to be socially relevant. All these things. So they set up some rules, and it slowly evolved into a competition. It's Andhra Nataka Kala Parishad is now most people remember it as a competition where they announce the competition, and people from various parts of the state, they send their entry forms, and these entry forms, after collecting these, after the due date, some judges used to be sent to all the corners of the state, and they used to scrutinize this place, and they used to select some 10 or 12 depending on the quality or depending on the hosting facilities and all these things. So they used to gather at one place, one town, because this Andhra Kala Parishad never had a permanent office or a permanent office in any city. So they used to organize these competitions in various towns and cities all over the state. For example, like Vijayawada, Rajahmundry, even Madras, it happened in Chennai. In those days, Madras, it is to be called, and even in Madras it happened. So there all these troops are invited, and the local people host these theatre companies, and they used to give them food and shelter, and they used to construct the stage, and they used to provide with the minimum basic stage equipment like lights and sound equipment, and of course the chairs to sit for the audience. And in those days, these competitions were very, very popular among the audience wherever it is held. So, but my complaint, of course, it's my complaint, my personal complaint. These people, they never thought of reviving the old theatre companies. This is basically, they started a wonderful amateur activity. But previous to that, there are professional companies where they used to have their own auditoriums as we have discussed in the beginning. I mean, before the talk, Star Theatre. What is that Assami theatre? Uska naam kya hai uska?
Vishwarupa. Vishwarupa Theatre.
Vishwarupa.
Previously it was Serangam. Previously it was Serangam by Shishir Bhaduri. Shishir Bhaduri was taken. Afterwards it was Vishwarupa. It became Vishwarupa.
Okay. So those theatres, even I have that complaint with the Bengali people also, because this all the stalwarts of this group theatre, they never thought of reviving those old theatre companies. Whatever may be the problem, they can sit down and solve those problems. That did not happen even in Andhra Pradesh. That's my complaint. Okay, so these parishads started happening, and they caught up with the audience. So likewise, many people, in many towns, these parishads, they started having their own parishads. Parishad means in Telugu parlance, it is competition. Okay, mind you. Whenever I mention parishad, it is a competition. Okay, it has become the part of our language. So in many towns and big cities are big towns, they started organizing these parishads. There are many competitions. At one point of time, there used to be about 75 to 80 competitions that were happening all over the state. Okay, so this is the growth of amateur theatre activity, a wonderful growth of amateur theatre activities. And from this amateur theatre movement, there are many writers, many actors, many directors that have come up, and they started migrating to film field also. Some examples are Atreya is one such writer who excelled in both theatre, and also then he migrated to Madras, and then he became a very prominent writer. And same is there are many. There is one director called Garigpati Rajarao, who was a prominent theatre director, who also migrated to film field and did a couple of films. So this is the fertile ground for wonderful writers and actors and directors. Okay, so these competitions have grown multifold. Okay, so even today, the Telugu theatre is sustained only through these competitions. Of course, the number of competitions have come down. Today, there are hardly about 15 or 20 Parishad competitions that are happening in the Telugu-speaking states. Okay, so, but still, the sustenance for Telugu theatre is only uh, uh, competitions. Okay, okay. Now, the problem here is, okay, let me give my note on these competitions. Okay, the problem with these competitions is, basically the competition means it's of a touring nature. Any theatre company which wants to do a play has to design that play for touring, because there is no permanent venue in their place. So they have to tour. Okay. So the touring involves expenditure. Because of the touring nature, accordingly, the sets and other material is designed. And the revenue has dictated the economics of the theatre. And one more thing, though the Andhra Nata Kala Parishad has put a rule that only females have to don the roles of females, there are not many females that have come forward to work in theatre. And mostly the females that act in theatre are known as professional theatre, the professional lady artists, because they come for various compulsions like poverty or some other thing. Okay, so mostly they are there as professionals, because, and there are very few professionals at that. There are not many. Hardly today, if you count in the entire Telugu-speaking states, you'll find about 10 to 12 professional artists. Okay, who cater to the entire amateur theatre activity in the Telugu-speaking states. Okay, that has its own limitation. Limitation means, for example, a professional actress, she can only take up this many plays in a season, and she had time is limited. So her time for rehearsals is also limited. So these are the constraints because of this. And also, in the earlier days, these competitions, there never used to be some cash prizes. They used to have rolling shields or some such thing. So people used to be very happy to get a prize. Okay. And I know my senior theatre people, they used to sell their bicycles and rings and other gold ornaments, or even the textbooks, to raise money to go to a parishad. Okay, because in the families they never used to encourage this kind of theatre activities, because most of these theatre actors are from a middle class family. You know, the middle class economics and its mentality. So in those days, that was the case. But slowly the things have changed. Now in the competitions, they offer you performance fees and also prize money. For example, if your play is selected for a competition, they give you some fixed money to come and perform there. For example, if my play is selected in Hyderabad or Vizag or wherever, say they'll give about 8 to 10,000 for my expenses. Okay, irrespective of where you stay, irrespective of the distance between your place and the venue. Okay, and in that you have to pay for the transport. There is the bus charges or train charges, and the lady artists, and of course there's the makeup artist who is to be paid. And if you have music, you have musicians who are professionals who are to be paid. So with all this, so this has put a constraint on the production cost. And the production cost also, it has put some constraints. So you can't spend more than X amount of money for a play. For example, and there are occasions where people used to do plays without girls, without female artists, because that is less expensive. Okay, and having two lady artists in a play is a very big luxury. Okay, very few people used to dare to do that. Okay, and having a gigantic set is totally ruled out, because you can't spend on transport of a set. Everything has to be contained in a suitcase or in a backpack. So these are the things which put constraints on the scripts, and on the production designs, and consequently on the directors and the actors. So that's where my reservation with this Parishat scene is. And one more, okay, sorry, I forgot, it's a sin to forget that. Yeah, because it's a competition, people are very particular that they get a prize. That's very important. So they are not bothered about the audience that are sitting behind those three judges. They are mostly bothered about how to impress those three judges, how to impress them. They are not bothered about the whole audience that are sitting behind. And consequently, now it so happened that even the audience that sit behind those judges, they also feel that they are self-appointed judges. They don't look at a play very as a layman, as objectively as they can, because a whole group is coming there and trying to tell a story. Why don't you take the story as it is, whether the story has reached them or not? No. Whereas they try to adjudicate whether this actor deserves a best actor prize, whether this play deserves a best director, or whether the lighting is good or bad. So they forgot to view a play as a storytelling device. That's my complaint. That's my main complaint with this competition. So that is the present. Even today, it is happening. It is continuing to happen. Okay, and here, of course, most of the actors, because there is no growth. If you see, I think that's the same situation everywhere, even in Bengal or Kannada or wherever. See, in other developed theaters, like if you go to West or Europe, they have this amateur theater, and then they have the professional theater. So there is some progression even for an amateur to get into a professional theater. If he is serious enough, he can get into professional theater. Okay, and then of course, if he is lucky enough, he can go into films. Okay. So whereas here, there is only one theater, that is amateur theater. So there is no progression for this theater. So either you are in amateur theater, or if you are lucky enough, you can land a role in a film and go there. Okay. So this is the situation.
Sir, one small question. I want to. I'm interested about the audience. This in Parishat Natak. This audience are very interested and enthusiastic, and they used to come, and I think they used to purchase ticket also.
No. There's no tickets. There are no tickets.
Okay.
Mostly there are no tickets. Maybe at one point or other. But today, absolutely there are no tickets. Even if it is free, people are not ready to come and watch the plays.
Okay.
Okay, because they have more entertainment than they want. For example, they have their own TVs. Okay. Even in those days, in villages, in small towns and villages, people used to come in a big number to watch these competitions because there is no other way of entertainment for them. Now that they have so many TVs and more than 100 channels, so even in city with small villages and towns, it's very difficult to gather audience. Okay. And one peculiar thing about Telugu theatre is, basically, before forming of Andhra Pradesh, we were in the combined Madras state. Okay. And so all our intellectuals, all our writers, artists, everybody, because there is film industry in Madras, so they all went to Madras for a better living because the film industry has attracted them. Okay. So they all went to Madras. So even the theatre to happen in Madras is very difficult because people there, they are busy with their film assignments than theatre. But whereas for a Tamilian actor whose state is Madras, for example, there was a thespian called Sivaji Ganesan who used to act in films, very popular in films, of course. So they used to have their schedule until 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, he used to go to theatre and act. So he used to maintain both cinema and theatre concurrently. Whereas for a Telugu actor, there is no such thing because Telugu audience are very few. So the numbers had dwindled after the formation of the state also. After the formation of the state, the film industry stayed in Madras for quite a number of years. And all these writers and film shootings also have used to happen in Madras. So for an actor, he doesn't have the luxury of acting in theatre also. So if he wants to continue as a film actor, he has to stay in Chennai. If he wants to do theatre, he has to come back to Andhra Pradesh, either to Vijayawada or Hyderabad or wherever. So that way, it is a loss to the theatre. Whereas in that sense, Tamil theatre has gained by that because actors used to concurrently act in both films and theatre. Okay. And then another reason is after the formation of the state, finally the capital has come to Hyderabad. Hyderabad is basically a Islamic culture. In Islamic culture, you don't have much theatre. They have their own art forms like qawwalis, all that, singing and other aspects. But theatre is not there for them. So, after the formation of the state, here, to start a theatre activity in a very big way, it has to start from the beginning, from the roots. Okay. Whereas, of course, because as I already told you, the theatre activity sustained mainly due to these parishads. Okay. So basically, in Hyderabad also, it is mostly the amateur activities that thrived. The first amateur club that started is in Secretariat. Obviously, the Secretariat employees, they used to form as a club and they used to perform and they used to do that. and then another club happened in Accountant General's office, and then another club happened in railways. Even in railways, that happened very late because the zone is formed. When did the zone form, Mandal?
66.
66.
66.
66. Okay.
Oh.
So these amateur clubs, they developed the theatre in Hyderabad mostly.
Thank you ever so much for spending your time with us. We hope you have enjoyed watching the program. Before we say bye-bye, we have a little request. Please spend a second to click on the subscribe button. No, this is not a financial subscription. It only means that you have seen and liked the program and subscribing to this channel so that you can watch many more such programs that we intend to bring to you. Thank you once again.